Good evening. This is Andrew Putters. 2023 is here. This is the Turn Golf Podcast brought to you by Rotoballer.com. Very excited to get the 2023 season over. My video I've been told, is not going to be good because we had some hurricanes come through. It went from last week, it was negative 20. It was 7 degrees 3 days ago. That just means tornado season in Tennessee. That's okay, though. I got my FootJoy shirt on. I've got some friends with me that want to catch in. Let's start out with my man Joe Nicely talking about Rotoballer.com in 2023. Joe, there you go, buddy. You got the stage, buddy. You got the stage.
What's up, buddy? What's up? Glad to be back. 2023, here we come. We got a new and improved high-tech setup over here, so we're ready to roll, man. Ready to roll. Great to be with y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast. We're really excited to be with you. Excited to talk some golf tonight. Excited to talk golf throughout the year. And as we get the year kicked off, I want to encourage you to go over to rotoballer.com. We have tried our best during the brief off season to beef up our premium offerings. We still got a ton of great free content over there, so we definitely want to encourage you to check that out. See what we're all about before signing up if you feel the need, but I can promise you it's one of the best deals that you'll find around the golf industry. We got one and done picks, DFS stuff every week, ownership projection. My man Byron, we're going to talk to him in just a minute. We got his stat buffet over there. Spencer Aguiar, one of the most consistent, proven, documented winners in the industry. We got a VIP package you can sign up for him. Offerings start out at $99 a year and go up to $199. We've got a gold, platinum, and Spencer's tee off package. So head over to rotoballer.com. You can use our promo code TURN and get 10% off those already great prices. You get a whole year with that. So we really hope you'll check that out before the golf season starts.
Joe, I appreciate it. Let's bring in the whole package here. I got my man, the model Maniac, along with Joe. And, I almost, forgot, we stepped away a little bit in the fall, not to, to turn a blind eye to what happened last night in the football game. But Joe was dealing with a little bit of illness too. We got all the arteries pumping tonight. We're ready for 2023.
That's right,
baby. New and improved Joe Nicely here in the flesh. Byron, the model Maniac, he's already been busting out all kinds of content for the 2023 season. That's why we're excited to get it today. You see, I got a little suntan this week, guys. Played golf January 1st. Did not play great. Shot about 83, but that's okay. Hit it in the woods on the first shot. Standard. Byron, how you been, man? I mean, I know it's probably about 6 degrees where you're at.
It's cold, but not cold enough for me to not have the plumber out yet, because stuff's going on in my house, and it's been one of those days. But we're getting our stuff figured out. I'm happy to be here. I'm a little sad I never got my own stage, but that's okay. I'll work on it for my next show that I'm on here with you boys. And it's been a good day. Looking forward to just wrapping out my day with my two buddies from Rotoballer and chatting some golf, hearing some more stories about putters in the woods. One of my favorite things to listen to. And just, wind down our Tuesday and let the people give them what they want. So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, it's I can't go much further without stating a few things. Number one is, like I said, I set my alarm for 12:45 a.m. to get ready for this podcast today. I've been working tirelessly to set these graphics up for us tonight. And I am the man that never sleeps. I proved it time and time again with my bracelet I wear that tracks all that. But I think we'd be remiss to say that my team is by far the most dominant football team that's represented in this podcast tonight. The Detroit Lions threw suds to the Jets, and the Falcons can't even line up if the Tennessee wide receiver / running back isn't playing. So. What's happened with your Jets, man? We're full.
This is a fantasy
locker room up there.
I'm not talking about my team. I was talking about them when we were winning. And we got two of the best cornerbacks in the league, and apparently we still can't stop the run with two guys just living on other people's islands. But we've lost 2 playoff games now in a row. You know, we lost the Jacksonville game on Thursday, scored like 0 points as well, and then Sunday was just. I had Garrett Wilson and Mike White stacked in my 2 fantasy lineups for the championship, and it's needless to say, I'm out. So. Not looking good on all fronts, football-wise. So looking forward to a good golf season. That's where I tend to shine. Football breaks your heart. You know, golf, you can at least pick random people and dive with them as they go. The Jets are not good.
Well, I fully expect for the Detroit Lions to one of 2 things is going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is going to break our hearts in the last second drive on an incredible stupid play that he hasn't done anything all year, or we'll dominate him. Seattle beat the Rams. It's one of that's the 2 things I see, which is kind of a weird predicament because Detroit has the Rams' first round draft pick at the same time. So, you know, I mean, if we can sneak in that top 3, we could possibly get Carter or Bryce Young. So I'm pretty excited. So anyway, let's get on to golf. That's why we're here. That's why we came here. Joe, appreciate you bringing out the rotoballer.com stuff. So let's just talk first. I don't even know. I've worked so hard on these graphics. I don't even know who's playing this tournament. I don't even know what the name of it is. It this
graphics look great, AP. Graphics look great, buddy.
Hey, to be fair, guys, this is to be fair. This is our podcast is all about the first look at the slate, right? So I think I'm okay that I haven't looked yet. Now, in saying that, I mean, was it still the Sentry?
Sentry
What's the name?
Tournament
What's the name
of
of this place?
Champions.
POC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't even Google it yet. That's where we're at.
Tournament of Almost Champions this week.
Hey, we've okay. We're in Hawaii. Let's just set the stage. We're in Hawaii. There's 39 participants. The king, the 5'6" king, is already WD'd. There's been many disqualifications, many add-ins later on, rule changes and whatnot. But the PGA Tour season starts January 5th at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. So, guys. What we know about this golf course, besides the fact that Kapalua is like built in 1953, par 73. They usually shoot like a million under. You can hit the driver literally everywhere. The wind always blows a ton. I think it was about 6 or 8 years ago, wasn't it? Whenever they called off the first round, which I had a huge bet on.
It's probably on Bubba Watson.
No, I had a huge bet on my boy from Auburn. He was like 4 under, and he had an 8-shot lead. What's the dude from Auburn that who's terrible now? Hits it great. You know what I'm talking about? He got 1 major championship. Lost the PGA to Keegan Bradley.
Duff Daddy.
Duffner was like 4 under, had an 8-shot lead, and I had a huge bullet on him, and it didn't work out for me. They ended up calling that first.
He's not playing this week.
Yeah. Yeah, he just barely missed out on the qualification. So, what is this thing like? 7,500 yards? How far is this thing?
It's just shy of 76, I think.
Yes. I mean, what wins this thing? Like 25 under? 30 under?
Well, yeah, 34 under last year. AP Cam Smith shot 34 under, I believe. John Rahm came in second at 33 under. So it can get nuts. It was really soft last year. I don't think we'll see it quite get there this year, but yeah, these guys are going to go nuts, man. They'll lock this place up.
So, like I said, 39 players, which is a pretty standard size field. However, we had to remove about 6 or 8 and then add in 6 or 8 to get to this number because some rule changes. If you finish in the top 30 in the FedEx Cup, was it automatic? And then there's some kind of world ranking automatic bid too, I believe. But saying that to say this, no cut event, 4 rounds, par 73. You can hit the driver anywhere. That, and like you said, the 36 under, that was Cam Smith before Scam Smith. So that's whenever he was using the cheat code. Let's just dive into the slate. There's not much to talk about, so we'll just kind of glaze over it, and then we'll talk about some yearly stuff that we're looking at. We're going to use the DraftKings pricing, which we usually use on this show. I got it scrolling here on the bottom of the screen. Like I said, been working tirelessly through the night in the salt mine to give you these graphics.
Absolutely beautiful.
So, guys, start at the top. I mean, I really think the cutoff here that we can start talking about people is 95 and above. So 10-3 to 9-5. You got Scotty, Rom, JT, Cantlay, Xander. I've got my thoughts here, but these are lottery picks here. Wouldn't you say on this golf course? These guys that can go low no matter how long the golf course is. So out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, Xander's probably the less, other than the gold medal deal or whatever. But still, he can go low on any course. He's a big fantasy guy. So where are we at on these guys? Who you at, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's the cream of the crop, man. These guys are heavy favorites, and they should be. When you start looking at who's won here, obviously, this is an event that just has winners from the previous year. So we're going to see a lot of elite guys, but it's kind of the cream of the crop that win here. You can toss out Harris English from a couple of years ago when you got Cam Smith, JT, Xander, DJ, just over the last 5 years. So normally, if kind of the trend holds, we're going to see a big time player take advantage of this golf course and win. That's why you'll see a lot of these guys garnering a lot of ownership this week, and especially with it being a no cut event, you can be really aggressive with your lineup construction. So I think John Rahm's going to be extremely popular. Justin Thomas is going to be extremely popular. They're probably going to be the two guys up here that are towards the top of the whole entire pricing scale and ownership. So you'll see a lot of people with Rahm, who came in second here last year, shot 33 under. Something not a lot of people are talking about. Won a couple times internationally down the stretch last year, and I feel like that's going to give him a lot of positive momentum. Didn't have the greatest year by his standards last year. Won in Mexico on the PGA Tour, but then he did win the Spanish Open and won over at the DP World Tour Championship to close out 2022. So he's coming in with some positive momentum. Got a couple of runner-up finishes on his resume here. He's going to play really well. JT's a 2-time winner here. We know what he's capable of when it comes to making birdies. And I don't know about Byron, but that's something I'm really weighing heavily this week. Just looking at guys that can go super low. That'll be needed on this golf course if they have a chance to win. Cantley's played well here. Xander's a former winner. So we got some course history beasts and some really talented players up here.
What's your thoughts, Byron, on this as well?
No, I totally agree with Joe on all of that stuff he just said about John Rahm being a great, fit for this course, especially with his course history and recent form. As always, you got to have a reason. You can't pick all 5 of these guys and play them. You have to pick between the 5 of them. And for me, John Rahm, I think I'm really interested to see again how his wedges do. I think that's my thing about him is if we're going to go to a course where I think like a third of the shots are coming from like that wedge proximity number from about 75 to 150 yards, he's not the best from there. And you're going to have to be good from there if you're going to make birdies. And his putter's been cooking, but I don't know how, that can change from week to week. And he's been, every time you see him on TV, he's just holing a long putt. So I'm out on John Rahm. I think he's going to be the most popular play, maybe, on the slate. And in order to win this thing, you're going to have to get different somehow. And I don't know what else to do because, like you said, this is a lottery and anyone can win this thing, but you're going to have to nail the guy at the top. And if 40% of the field's got John Rahm or 35% of the field is John Rahm, I'm out of it and I'm going to go to Scotty. I just think at some point that putter's got to click. He's been hitting the golf ball at the same level as that 5'6" Irishman that you mentioned there earlier, AP, and he's been doing all that just fine. the putter has just been a problem. And I think with some time off, maybe that's a bit of a reset. The guy's too good to putt that badly for that long. I think he's going to bounce back soon, and I want to be on him when he does. So he's easily my favorite player in the top range. And then JT just makes so many birdies on this golf course. And I think he's finished top 5 in 4 of his last 5 starts at this course. So hard to not play him either. So I think those are going to be my 2 guys I like the most at the top there.
Yeah. Like you said, you just got to find the guy at the right place at the right time this week, because it's going to be a birdie fest. It's kind of like this is, to me, is like the Friday group at noon that goes off at your local club or local muni, where everybody puts in the $40 and you got the A player, B player. These are your captains, right? These are the guys that are going to go out, and you're going to see multiples low 60s shot from this group. And my only really fallback from Scheffler look is that seems that him and Xander both play the harder courses extremely well. But I know that's not really a knock because this is easy, but I would think they have more of an advantage there. JT's more of the ball striker style. Cantlay usually picks apart the weaker fields and when the putter gets hot. And then John Rahm is a beast, but it seems to only win on the events that don't matter, except for the few majors. But I really wouldn't even know where to go here. I honestly think you could kind of pull it out of a hat, or come up like what you said, Byron. Just come up with a storyline that you think is going to be right and pick it and go. And just, if you don't get it right, you don't get it right.
Yeah.
So
Byron and I were talking while you were getting everything set up, AP, and with the 39-man field this week, where we are going to have some concentrated ownership, I think it's a very reasonable strategy to just kind of look at ownership and let that dictate where you go. Not a lot of people are going to play Patrick Cantlay up here. And Cantlay's played really well at this golf course. Got 2 top 5s in his last 3 trips here. We know we can get hot with the putter. We know we can win golf tournaments. So if you want to go a little bit against the grain and kind of fade what's going to be a lot of top heavy bills, I think you can give Patrick Cantlay a look up here if you're trying to do something different with your bills and want to start your lineup out in a little bit different way.
Yeah,
I got you.
I love Patrick Cantlay as well.
Byron, I'll switch over to you here. Let's go on down. Morikawa, Finau, Fitzpatrick, Zalatoris, Cam Young. I mean, this is a pretty stacked group here. So I'll stop there. Well, no, actually, I'm going to say Finau, Morikawa, Patrick, Zalatoris. That's the next group. 4 players. I know it's kind of a small there, but if you had to pick one, Zalatoris, is he healthy? Is he not? Tony Finau's got a brand new swing. It looks like a 6'8" Jim Furyk out there hitting off the side of the hill.
Let's win more than we've ever won in our lives, and let's make some changes in the off season. Always works out great. Everybody that's ever done that in the history of the sport has improved dramatically. When they're playing great and change their swing. We've seen Tiger do it, Jordan Spieth do it. A lot of success there. So good call by whoever's guiding Tony.
I know, and it looks like he's popping a squat now while he's teeing off. It's just his whole thing's gone rogue on him. But we'll see. That's the best part about these off seasons. It provides us with a bit of a mixed bag once we get back. I'm kind of speaking about ownership and things like that. I think Will Zalatoris is going to be one of the lowest owned guys in the top above 8K range. And it's got to do with his injury. It's got to do with the fact that you got to get to 30 under par, which I don't think he's typically very good at. But he's still very goddamn good at golf. So if he's going to be 10, 15% less than a lot of these guys up here, I'll play him. I think this week it's not about the golf. It's about who you're playing and how you're playing him. And I'm down. He's ranked 30 in my model. I don't know what the model likes about him. I guess he's going to ball strike this golf course to pieces. So, love myself some Will Zalatoris.
Well, before I even get to Joe here on this, I mean, I'm Finau or bust on this course. Hit the driver anywhere. He's going to be on every par 5 and 2 putting, which we could probably say that about Fitzpatrick too. He's a bomber now. since he's been pumping out them push-ups. So, Joe, where are you at on these 4 guys?
Yeah, it's a really interesting range. Like Byron said, Will Zalatoris is probably going to be your ownership play here. We know that we prefer him on U.S. Open top, major championship top tracks. We know how excellent he is from tee to green. Birdie Fest aren't really his jam, so that's kind of why you're going to see him with lower ownership, and he's coming off the back injury and a layoff in the fall. So he's unique leverage in GPPs going to Zalatoris. I'm really intrigued with Colin Morikawa. He didn't have the top of year last year that I think probably we thought he was going to have. That I thought he was going to have. First time since he turned pro that he didn't have a win in a calendar year. But the guy's still really, really good. Still a tremendous ball striker, and he's played well on this golf course. He's played it 3 times. Played the Sentry 3 times. Has never finished worse than tied for 7th. So we know that he can fit on this golf course. The question is, can he make putts? And Morikawa is one of those guys. If we can catch a hot putter week, and I know that's a big if with Colin Morikawa, but if we can catch an outlier week where he gains strokes putting, he can win. I mean, it's proven. He wins golf tournaments. There's been 8 measured starts of his throughout his career where he's gained more than 3 strokes putting. Over those 8, he has 3 wins, 4 runner-ups, and a 7th. So if Colin Morikawa has a hot putter, he's got a really good chance of winning a golf tournament. I think he's going to be pretty contrarian up here, so I'm really intrigued with Morikawa this week.
I like it, Joe. We've talked about, I don't know how many times, if Morikawa was 20-1, he's automatic. I was trying to pull up how many tournaments he's played in, how many he's won, but we said forever. I think all but one of his wins he's been over 20-1 to win, because we've kind of talked about that for the whole time, his whole career. 20 and 20-1 or over, always play Morikawa to win, and he's 18-1 this week, and that's the current number on FanDuel. And there's only 39 people in the field. So that number's not terrible, but we're going to have some issues with the win. Who knows there? Like I said, Finau or bust for me. Let's move on to the next path here. And this might actually be, I could see starting all these guys in a lineup and being okay. Cam Young, Tom Kim, Max Homa, Vic Hovland, Sam Burns. You could start all those guys. It's kind of like the top 5, right? I mean, like, how can we go wrong here? I know there might be some course history dispersed you in the group here, but I mean, can you dislike anybody in that group? Joe, with you first.
Yeah, a lot of guys making their tournament debut here. This course hasn't been very kind to guys making their tournament debut. I think it's been 15 or 16 years since a player that was making his debut at Kapalua actually won this event. So those guys kind of got that going against them. And Cameron Young and Tom Kim both making their first starts. But obviously they're very talented players. Look like the future of golf last year. Max Homa, we saw him kind of raise his level of play up. He's back here again. Hasn't played great. Had a T15 last year though. And Vic Hovland, his track record here looks bad on paper, a T30 and a T31. But he seems to be a different player. Coming off a win at the Hero, we've seen him play well kind of in these tropical type environments where there's not a lot of pressure. Of course, the worry with him is can he make enough birdies? I believe the answer is yes. I think you can give Vic a look. But yeah, man, any of these guys, I'm really intrigued by Cameron Young and his distance off the tee and his ball striking here this week. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Cameron Young, even though it feels like a little bit of a roll of the dice with him making his debut here.
No, I love it. I love this range. I was just checking now. I think if you take those 5 guys, you can spend $7,000, and then you've got a full lineup. So love this range. In particular, I love Max, Victor, and Sam. What I love about Sam, he is electric on Bermuda. the last 50 events on Bermuda, he's leading the field in strokes gained putting. Victor Hovland is also incredible on the putting surface. And when it comes to this golf course, I think I saw that 50% of birdies are made from inside 5 feet. So these guys aren't making these massive long putts. They are hitting it tight. A lot of these holes are going to be short. They're going to be hitting these wedges tight. Victor is second in proximity numbers from all those ranges if you combine them together. So he's also third and fourth inside 15 and 5 feet. So he's putting, his irons are amazing. His around the green fumbles aren't going to be a thing here because they're hitting 85% of the greens. I love Victor. I think he's one of my favorite players in this range. Him, Sam Burns, and Max Homa. In particular, Max Homa doesn't make as many birdies as normally people do, but he dominates par fives. And there's 4 of them on this golf course, and I think he's going to do well on them. I think, a few of the par fours are kind of like par fives because you're going to be hitting a long drive into it and then having to scramble up and down for a birdie kind of thing. Lots of interesting concepts to go through here, and I think these guys are going to go underlooked. So love all 3 of those dudes outside of, Cam Young and Tom Kim, who are polarizing plays that I think I'm going to be off of this week, even though I like them.
Yeah, I watched Young and Homa play quite a bit at the year-end tournament down in Georgia and Atlanta, and FedEx Cup Championship, and Young was very nonchalantly impressive. Let's just say, like, just out there and like look like somebody like me going to like a pitch and putt at the beach, but he's playing in the FedEx Cup Championship. That's the way I felt, and not playing bad either. So, super impressive. Anytime where distance is going to be a plus, I'm looking at him. Max Homa just looks driven, guys. I mean, since his confidence is there with making a couple wins last year, it looks like he's never going away. So I like that too. Let's move on. How Sunjay M, Jordan Spieth, Hideki, Young. We'll just take this all the way down to Henley at 77. So Henley, Connors, Horschel, Harmon, Hideki, Jordan. Give me 2 minutes, Joe. Who you like in this area?
Man, you know who I like in this area, Jordan Spieth. I'm always rolling the dice on Jordan Spieth. We're looking for birdie makers. There's a lot of crossover between this golf course and Augusta National, believe it or not. Out of the last 10 Sentry Tournament of Champions winners, half of those guys have won the Masters. Spieth has won this golf tournament before. So we know he handles kind of the undulations, the elevation changes, like we see at Augusta National, the slopey greens. There's a lot of similarities. So Sungjae is going to be probably the most popular player overall on the slate. He'll be right up there with Rahm and JT. It's a great price on Sungjae. He's played really well in 2 previous trips here, T8 and a T5. Closed out the year playing really well. Hideki's not looked good last year, but we've seen him play well in Hawaii. Won the Sony last year. So I think if you want to go a little bit against the grain here, probably circle Hideki's name. I like Jordan just for the upside when he gets hot. I need a guy that can make a lot of birdies. But if you're looking for a cash game play, looking for a single entry play, Sungjae's probably the safest, and a lot of people are going to go in that direction here.
Yeah, I think I'll back up your safe play and go with Brian Harmon. I like him a lot. He's kind of been one of these guys that's under the radar.
Sneaky
His
good.
game doesn't make sense. What'd you say?
Sneaky good. Sneaky good.
He is. He's sneaky good. He's just this guy that just gets it done. I was, preparing for a few fantasy drafts and stuff, and this guy just racks up top 20s, man. He's just 33% of his starts are top 20s. So he just does his thing. He's a great putter. And I feel like if you don't have distance here, you have to be a really good putter. And he is, which I can totally see him making up all the missed shots that he doesn't have off the length with the flat stick. And he does really good stuff on Bermuda. And I love him. His game is in form and his irons are really good. And, this course is short enough that you don't have to hit it super close to the green. You can still hit a good approach shot in there. And he's been doing that. So I love him. And then I'll go with Russell Henley as well. He plays easy golf courses really well. He doesn't have that length. I think he's going to be a little under-owned as well because of that. Hits his irons really, really close. So he's going to have those 5-foot looks that he's going to make or miss. Who knows what he's going to get up to on the greens, but we know he's going to have a lot of birdie looks. And he plays these easy courses well. So I like those two guys. They, especially in this range, you got to get different. And I think they're going to be not super popular like Sanjay, you know. So I'm down on those two guys a lot.
I'm probably Hideki if you had to here. Jordan, it's probably a B choice for me. But yeah, y'all just glazed right over Corey Connors. I mean, best ball strikers in the world. Okay. 77
putts, man.
77 to 7,000. Lot to like here. I'll go ahead and throw out. I mean, Thigala is going to be the crowd favorite in this group. Aaron Wise is going to be the sharp favorite here, along with some power love. I kind of like Mackenzie Hughes to make some noise right here. I don't know why. He just makes birdies all the time. Every time you turn around, this guy's making a birdie. Mackenzie Hughes in the 7K range is 7,700. Byron, anybody just real quick, give me 30 seconds on a guy right here.
Now I'm going to double down with Mackenzie Hughes. I love him. He's done that speed training stuff. I think we've seen him at all courses. That doesn't really help that kind of thing. He's drivers all over the place. Gets to go to this place and absolutely unleash the driver. Also, one of the best putters in the field. Give me that. And he's hitting it further than he ever has. Sign me up. Guy's going to make 1 million birdies over the weekend. I think his putter's going to heat up once or twice the weekend. Let's go. I love Mackenzie Hughes. I got him an outright, 100 to 1. Let's ride. But not Broncos. Mackenzie
Hughes. Joe, give me 30 seconds on a guy right here.
Seamus is probably my favorite. I like Tagala's upside. I mean, the dude's just electric out there. He can get hot, make a lot of birdies, get going. But if we're talking about, just trying to play the best play, I like Seamus. Had a win and 2 top 5s in his last 3 starts of 2022. So he's coming in with great form. Played here last year, so he has some experience, had a T15. So I'm circling Seamus down here.
I'll stay with you, Joe. 69 and below. Actually, it's like Mackenzie was 69. So JT posting and below at 68. We can't go any further without talking about the Masters. My boy Scott Stallings is leading the Twitter or the Google search right now for the PGA Tour bonus for the end of the year. Yeah. No doubt, he got like 10 million hits on his post there. Was that Monday morning, Tuesday morning? So, absolutely hilarious. I saw today where he's taken to the other Scott Stallings, the obscure Columbus, Georgia real estate mogul Scott Stallings to for a round at Augusta in April. So that'll be pretty neat. Who you like down here in the 6K range? Give me you got 20 seconds here, Joe. Sell me on somebody.
Tom Hoagie, man. I like Hoagie. I think he's a really underrated player. He's down here in the mid 6K range. Probably one of the better values on the slate. Can make birdies. We've seen him do it before. So without a doubt, Hoagie's my favorite play down here.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's mispriced. I don't know what the heck he's doing down in the $6,500 range, but I think that's going to make him super popular, and that's fine. If you're doing weird stuff up top, take Tom Hoagie down, yeah, for sure. I like Trey Mullinax. I don't know why. Just I'm looking at his numbers here, and he's the only dude in this range that just absolutely mows it down the fairway. Like he's going to be hitting it so far, and he can get hot with the putter, right? So you're going to grab a $6,200 guy in this field. I don't think he's going to be super owned. Why not take a chance on this kind of dude? His game suits this golf course quite nicely. Who knows what kind of game he's going to bring, but it suits it.
Yeah, him and Scott are best friends, I believe, on tour. I mean, very well, I'll say close friends. And Scott said he hits it like 50 yards by him.
Oh yeah.
And I played with he played with JT, didn't he? I feel like he did. He played college golf with JT.
I think so. I think I saw him throwing water bottles at JT's windshield in the parking lot. So
right. So yeah, he's tall too. He's like there's the guys on tour like come up to his armpit, like when they're standing next to him on the tee. But he's a tall guy, bombs it. He almost won in San Antonio a few years ago. I mean, heck, he was Corn Ferry till the Kentucky tournament. I don't know where it is, Lexington or Louisville.
Yeah, the
wherever that-
Barbazal, he won up there. Won up there earlier this year. We saw him played well down the stretch at the end of the summer.
31.
After that,
31.
yeah, after that win, got some confidence going. Played well in the Open, had a top 25 there, had a top 5 in Memphis, closed out the top 5 in Houston. So there's I'm with Byron. There's a lot to like about Mullinax down there.
All right, so guys, let's move on to the Heart and the Dart play. So guys, who are you? We'll start with you, Byron. Give me your dark horse for the week.
Mackenzie Hughes. I don't know what
Mackenzie
about
Hughes.
him. Let's go. I love his game here. It's doesn't make any sense, but let's do it.
Mackenzie Hughes, 100-1. Still to right now, as we speak, 100-1. Mackenzie Hughes, 39 people in the field. Joe, who's your dark horse this week?
I like Seamus. He's learning how to win, gaining confidence. Has some experience on this golf course. So I'll say Seamus.
I'm kind of Trey Mullinax, 120-1. You probably find him better than that in places if you shop around. Might be able to give him 150, 180. Who knows? Haven't looked at the first round leader versus the overall. See if there's any big jumps. But one thing sticks out: Tom Hoke, 65-1. Stallings, 100-1. Stallings is 3, 4. Yeah, Stallings is more expensive than him. On the DFS, what you're talking about, the markets have already brought Hoag's number down. I mean, but you can get some of these guys in the 20s, guys that are in the 20s with full fields. Let's think about that for a little bit. I mean, Jordan Spieth, 27-1. He's 27-1 in major championships. He's 16-1 every time he tees it up at Augusta. Come on, 27-1. So, but I'm with you. I'm going to go Trey Mullinax just on the dark horse side of it, long shot. But honestly, guys, I really think Xander wins this week. So I'm going Xander as my heart play of the week. Joe, who's your heart play of the week?
I'm gonna stick right up there, man. I'm gonna go Morikawa. I think he just needs to catch a hot putter, and he can really make some things happen. We hadn't seen it in a while, so maybe the putter changes a little bit for him in 2023. So I'll go Colin Morikawa.
Byron?
Yeah, I was just looking at Colin's stats, and he's gained putting 3 times since April, which is just insane. Like, what are we doing here, But anyway, we'll see what he can get up to. I like Xander too, AP. I think his game is so well-rounded, and he plays well here too. And he's slightly got better odds than the other guys. I think he's like at 11 and everybody else is at 10, which is, if you're going to bet one guy, the difference between 10 and 11 is a lot kind of thing. I don't know why, but it's when you get so low odds, it matters. And Xander's one of those dudes, and I love his game. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So here in closing, guys, I just want to say a couple of things real quick before we get into our last little bit that we're going to talk about. Once again, Joe talked about some things we got going on at Rotoballer. If you want to check out the premium stuff over there, like you said, step 1 is all these tons of articles and ideas and the theories they're putting out every week, the plays they're putting out every week, the ownership, the core for it. There's all kinds of stuff, guys. No matter how big your bankroll is, you can go over there, rotoballer.com, promo code TURN, get 10% off on your premium package. And plus, guys, we got all kinds of, not just golf, everything's over there. Secondly, I didn't even talk to you all about this until we went live. We're live on Twitch tonight. Anybody over there on Twitch talking at or watching us, hey, how you doing? We're going to come at you every week right here live on Monday or Tuesday night whenever we can fit it into our busy lives. And see you all also live on the Twitter. I'm going to be posting this to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Rumble. So if you're out there, you're listening to it, like, subscribe, give a comment. We will respond to it. I promise. Hit us up on Twitter. Any of the three of us, we will comment back. We will talk to you. So in closing, I sent this question over to you guys earlier this tonight, and this is something I really wanted to talk about. And this is pretty much the main thing. We could have just had a show about this, I think. I was looking over the schedule, a lot of inflated purses, a lot of different types of, I wouldn't say different types of events, but the purses are going to change the way the fields look on purpose. So, guys, I'm going to start with you, Byron. Two things, one question. Number one, what do you see happening this year? What's a prediction you're going to put out there? Not what you want to happen, but what is your prediction you think is going to happen this year? That really people are not really talking about yet. They will be talking about it 6 months from now.
Max Homa is going to win the Masters. That's not what I want that to happen, but I also think it's going to happen. I think his career it's moving in the right direction. And I think he's doing all the right stuff, and the way his game's going, it's just turning into a giant snowball of success. I just think he's going to have a world of success this year. It's going to be his year. He's got a kid. I don't know how good those are for your career, but I think his game's good enough to transcend all of that stuff around him. It's his time. He's done enough now. He's won enough tournaments. It's time to rack up a major.
Joe, what kind of prediction you throwing out there is going to happen this year?
I think we're going to see. Live players play really well in major championships. That's not something I necessarily want to see, but I think that's something we are going to see. I think we'll see Cam Smith and probably Dustin Johnson as well, right there in the mix at Augusta when the Masters rolls around. We know that they're going to be able to play. So I think that's something that we're going to continue to see as time progresses. We'll see those guys playing well in majors. So as unfortunate as the whole live thing is, for now, it's a reality. And I think we're going to see those guys kind of remind us what type of players they are, even though they might be a little bit out of our weekly sight line, unfortunately. But I think we'll see those guys play well in major championships, Cameron Smith especially. And don't forget about DJ.
You know, I feel like it's your prediction, Joe, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you to some extent. I see this as some sort of complacency builds complacency, and if these guys are not competing at a high level a lot, and I'm not talking about all the guys, I mean, but a majority of the guys we see kind of build momentum up, and I'm afraid that we're not going to see that from them. I'm kind of taking a stab at what you said your bold prediction is going to be, but mine's along those lines.
I'll say this, AP. Do you really think it matters to Dustin Johnson if he plays in the Sentry Tournament of Champions when he shows up to Augusta National? Do you really think that matters to DJ?
No, it does not matter to DJ, but he usually plays competitively a few weeks in a row before that and builds momentum. Is my point.
I think you're probably right to. I think it's probably an individualized thing. DJ just popped in my head. I think it's going to probably affect him a lot less than maybe some other players, but you're probably right. It's probably an individualized thing.
Well, but we're only talking a handful of guys anyway that are going to be competitive on a national level, right?
Yeah, and that are in there, that are going to be in there for the next few years. I mean, there's a lot of these guys, if they're not otherwise already in, they're just going to continue to tumble in the world rankings unless something's done about that.
I feel like that I'm a little bit ahead of this, and actually my second question, I want to kind of tie these in, and I'll go ahead and start the second question now. So the second part of my question is, what do we want to happen this year? And I think I'm going to be about 6 months early, but I say what I think is going to happen is that the first person is going to file for membership back in for permission to play on the PGA Tour again. And what I think is going to happen, and when I say that, I think in 24 months the Live Tour does not exist. And that thought is that in 20, I think this year it's going to go on, but we've already seen some kind of turmoil in the front office with people quitting. I've said before that Greg Norman's never ran a company profitably. He's sold plenty of companies that made money, but he's never been at the helm of one that was profitable. And I think they'll just get bored with it. So I feel like I'm going to be about 6 months early on this prediction, but somebody's going to file to play on the PGA Tour again with the tour office, and they're not going to serve the 2-year suspension. That's my prediction. So
That's
maybe
wild.
it's 18 months, maybe it's 12 months, maybe it's like July and somebody file or, whatever they submit, whatever paperwork they want to submit. And, instead of it being 2 years from then, it's 12 months. That's what I think that if Live Tour goes away, the penalty is not going to be as harsh as that they're talking about on the front lines. That's what I want to have. Okay. That's what I want to happen. I want the Live Tour to go away, or I will say want. That's my prediction. That's like the dream prediction, I guess. But what I think will happen is in the next 6 months, somebody will vocally or legally or whatever it is they need to do will file the paperwork to play again. You got anything for that?
I think it's really interesting if the PGA Tour will hold the line that they said they would, because I mean, if you start getting guys wanting to come back, that would be a chance for them to basically put an end to the Live Tour, right? If they kind of know that, let these guys know that, hey, the door's open to come back, and they can put Live out of business. Will they stick with their previous party line, or will they kind of? We know the PGA Tour has been known to massage things a little bit. We've got to, look at some of the guys we got in the field this week at the Tournament of Champions. So, nothing's set in stone, and it would be that would be very interesting at AP. That's a cool prediction.
All right. So what do you want to happen this year, Joe?
Oh, Tony Finau to win the Masters.
Have you got an outright on him?
Happen. That's what I'd like to see happen.
Tiger to make the cut at the Masters. Shoot 80 on the weekend.
Man, I'm content with my Tiger stuff. I really am. I think 19. He gave us all he had probably, and I don't know that we can ask any more of him, man. That moment was something I'll never forget. Had a chance to watch it with some friends, and so I'm kind of good. I'm kind of at peace with the Tiger thing. Obviously, I'd love to see him out there if he's healthy. I don't want to see him out there if he's kind of laboring around like he was at Southern Hills and at the Open. But yeah, I mean, like anybody, I'd love to see him get out there and play well if he's healthy. But I'm kind of at peace with the Tiger stuff.
That 71 on Thursday last year in that win was, I mean, that bring you to tears anyway, just watching it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's the fanboy in you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, mentally, obviously, you could still do it. And as far as shot making, I think he can still do it. I just don't know. I just don't know if the dude can walk 72 holes. And that's that's just kind of where we are with him. And that's a problem. Unfortunately, I just don't know that he can actually walk and his body hold up.
What are you thinking, Byron? What do you want? If you could use the remote control on your crystal ball, where would you? What's your prediction?
I'm not going to go with like a prediction, but more of like a want. Whereas like we're just transitioning from Tiger here. I want someone like Scotty or John or Rory, but it needs to just be one of them to just take this year or the next 3 or 4 years and just take it by the scruff of their neck and just become the villain that everybody loves. Like we want, like when they lose to somebody, we need like a Tiger-esque type run. I know it's like very difficult to ask for, but if I'm wishing away, give me a Rory or a Scotty or someone that's very likable, that can go out there and just steal tournaments from everybody. Have them in there, and just when they're in the field and on a Sunday and they're in the mix, that's the last thing you want to think of. And I'm hoping it can happen. You know, we need a powerhouse guy. It's been too long since we've had a few guys do a few runs here, like Scotty did that and all that jazz. And Rory finished off strong and played well in the Masters and the majors, but never won one. We need a guy that's just going to be a savage, win as many tournaments as he wants, and just turn the golf world into his own oyster, and just, you know, give us that person to talk about. I don't know. That's kind of what I want.
Yeah, it'll be tough. I like the way you phrase it. Become the villain that everybody loves. So that's what Tiger was, right? The villain everybody loved. I think if you dissected his career like 3 different times, he was still like the second, third, and fifth best golfer of all time, or something stupid. The villain that everybody loves. That's a good one. I like that, Brian. That's going to be on a T-shirt one day.
Hey!
But I think it's hard, man. I mean, are people that we see right now at the top, are they willing to do what Tiger did? And I don't mean this in the women thing, but like do that to his family, or are they willing to do what Tiger, Michael Jordan, and others have done to reach that pinnacle in the sport? Who knows? I mean, we're not talking about a once in a generation. We're talking about once in a century golfer. So, I mean, we've seen flashes. We've seen Jordan Spieth. We've seen Jason Day. We saw Scotty Scheffler. We saw Cam Smith. But it's really hard to think of that. What you're and that, like you said, that's a want. That's not a prediction. That's like a wish, right? And because at the end of the day, Tiger, Jordan Smith, Rory McIlroy, they move the needle on us watching the tournament. I know there's other great golfers, but that's the ones that people are somewhat involved in. Jordan dominated at such a young age that now all of a sudden that he's, you know, like me and Joe might not talk all week, and then Jordan's in the next last group, and he's like, "You watching this?" I mean, you know, it's just the way it is. I don't know what it is about him that brings the eyeballs to it, but it does. I mean,
Yeah.
Charisma, the camera charisma, I guess. I don't know.
And all the audio feeds. I mean, goddamn, that guy on a microphone is just something.
Yeah. We've been at it for 55 minutes, guys. We were only supposed to go 30. My video is horrible, but we got great graphics. Byron, always a pleasure. Rotoballer's going to kill it in 2023. The Turn's going to kill it in 2023 from the looks of this new stuff. So tons of great stuff, tons of great content. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, whatever it's called, and Amazon Prime, and wherever we're at. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment, reach out. We'll talk to you. Guys, I really appreciate it. Rotoballer.com, best place in the world for your daily fantasy needs. Use the promo code TURN. This is the Turn Golf Podcast. Signing off.